Is it on? Did I remember to turn it on? I need to check before I go further. It says recording there when it's stink bugged. There's Miss Annie. Okay, well, now that just changed everything. Because normally I'm very astute to know that, to make it just about the card, the tarot card. But instead, today's card is Strength, number 8. Okay. Teth, the, as in the, also T, value 9, means snake, symbol of what has been known among occultists for ages as the serpent power. This was what Moses typified by his bizarre image of the wilderness. It is the astral light of Eliphaz Levi, the force designated in theology by the term Fohat. It is cosmic electricity, the universal life principle, the conscious energy which takes form in all and as all things, and builds everything from within. The control of this energy is its subhuman forms by mental means. It is the primary secret of practical occultism. The serpent also symbolized secrecy, subtlety, and wisdom, thus is the allegory of Genesis. The Templar is a snake, and the devil is called the old serpent. The serpent power is the source of the illusion, thus the father of lies. Yet, when it is overcome, it becomes the instrumentality of salvation. Again, because the ancients observed that the serpents cast their skin, the snake was taken to be a type of reincarnation, regeneration, or immorality. Taste is the sense, and digestion the function, assigned to Teth by the Kabbalists. Literally, digestion is feeling. And this recalls the familiar serpent biting its own tail, which we have seen in the picture of the magician. The serpent power feeds on itself. That is, it is self-sustaining. Scientifically, this is correct. The sum total of the universal conscious energy remains ever the same. It enters into various forms of expression, and these feed on one another. Hence, the serpents are the caudulus, or wand of Hermes. Represents this law of endless transformation and conversion. Its direction is north above. It's represented on the cube of space by the upper boundary of the northern face, which is the pointed junction between that face and the top of the cube. The line connects the upper points of the line northeast and the line northwest. These are the lines corresponding and respectively to key 4, the Emperor, and key 11, Justice. The northern face of the cube is represented in the tarot by the key 16, the Tower, symbolizing the planet Mars and the fiery activity which has for its most obvious manifestation and disintegration of forms. In digestion, the first step is the breaking up of food by mastification, followed by further disintegration in the chemistry of the stomach and the intestines. The disintegrating activity under the conscious self-direction of the mental state typified by Mercury and the magician above is the basis of practical work in occultism. Until one is wise enough to select and digest the proper sorts of foods, he's not ready to experiment with the higher laws of control which enable Eps to perform their mighty works. Regulation of diet is at the bottom of the practical magic, corresponding to it the principle expressed in the Hermic Atom, as above so below. is right selection and assimilation of mental food. Leo the lion, a fixed sign of the fiery quantity, is attributed to the letter Tet. Leo is ruled by the sun, key 19. It governs the sides, back, heart, and spinal column. It is the sign attributed in Hebrew occultism to the tribe of Judah. The astrological symbol for Leo represents serpent and the sign governing the spine, which is related to the nerve currents directed upward through the spinal centers in the practice of yoga. In modern astrology, Leo is to be the sign of the exaltation of Neptune, key 12, the hangman. The color assigned to Leo is yellow. The musical tone is E natural. Intelligence of the secret of all spiritual activities, or intelligence of the secret of the works, is the mode of consciousness attributed to the Kabbalists to the. Here it should be borne in mind that all activities are spiritual, in the literal sense of spirit, as the cosmic life breath. Part of the secret is the law that all forces and activities whatsoever are transmutations, stations, and conversions of the one cosmic conscious energy source. Other phases of this law will be touched upon in the symbols of key 8. Here we go, through the symbols. Strength, the title of key 8, is sometimes given as force and occasionally, but incorrectly, as fortitude. It is courage, only as courage is derived from conscious knowledge of the law typified by the symbolism. The correct title, strength and force, allure to the fiery life power which is the source of all human action. The yellow background of the picture agrees with the color attributed to Leo in this scale. In the distance, a mountain peak, like the one shown in key 6, having the same meaning. In contrast to the urban aspect of key 7, the scene here is an inhabitable plain. It is a plain in a valley, suggesting the level of actual existence, but the absence of houses indicates that the conditions here are those of nature apart from human artifice. The woman's yellow hair identifies her as the Empress, so that we may understand her to represent creative imagination and subconscious generation of mental imagery. Instead of a wreath, she wears a crown of flowers, indicating that the point of development shown by key 8 is the forces that organic life are near to fruition. Over her head is the same horizontal 8 that hovers over the head of the magician. It has the same meaning. It further imitates that something of the magician's quality has been transferred to the woman. It indicates the fact that subconsciousness receives the impress of the self-conscious mental states and is modified by self-conscious selectivity and initiative. Even the outcome of the digestive process, themselves governed by subconsciousness, depends on our conscious selection of food and our conscious attention to the preliminary work of mastication. So does the outcome of subconscious operations in general depend, for good or ill, on the selection and direction which are the particular business of the subconscious plane of mind. Note in this connection that the cube of the square, or the space of the line north above, is at the top of the cube, or at the level of the upper surface, which is assigned to key 1, the magician. The unornamented white robe of the woman signifies purity in the strictest sense of the word, which means freedom from mixture. Because white is the color assigned to Kether, the crown is the uppermost circle of the Kabbalic diagram of the Tree of Life. This color, whenever it appears in a tarot symbolism, relates to the pure spiritual influence of the primal will. Around her waist is a chain of roses twisted through. The detail is not very clear in the picture, so as to form another figure 8. The Dr. Waite says the woman leads the line by the chain of flowers. This signifies artistic adaptation, the chain of desire, the roses. When we learn how to weave our desires together into a chain, rejecting all desires which are incompatible with our main purpose and coordinating those we do decide upon as fitting our purpose, we shall be able to make wonderful applications of creative imagination to the control and direction of the serpent power. The lion as king of beasts represents the subhuman forces, all subhuman expression of the cosmic vital electricity. The king stands for all its subjects. His color refers to the alchemical red lion, symbol of sulfur, purified and sublimated by the amalgamation with mercury. This is the exact idea hinted at the attribution of north above to this key, inasmuch as alchemical sulfur has to do with fiery electromagnetic potency common to the sun, ruler of Leo, and to Mars, north. And this potency is directed by self-consciousness, which is Mercury above. The lion also confirms the attribution of key 8 to Leo. You remember that some of the mention of this was made in chapter 3. The woman tames the lion in Dr. Waite's version. She shuts his mouth. And in the Boa version, reproduced herein, as in the older version, she opens it. This is preferable, since to open the mouth is to make articulate, to give speech to, and whatever has the power of speech is assimilated with humanity and impressed by human thought. When we assimilate the hostile, destructive, dangerous, wild forces in nature to the uses of mankind, we add to those forces the quality of human consciousness. Thus electricity, the flaming thunderbolt, tamed and modified by man, is now, as Eliphas Levi prescribed, what gives to human speech a universal reverberation and success. The meaning of the picture should now be plain. The great secret is the law that subconsciousness is at all times in control of every subhuman manifestation of cosmic energy. The extent of this control is far greater than is usually supposed. Every force in nature, down to those of the inorganic mineral kingdom, is within range of this subconscious direction. Actually, it is because of this that man is able to extend his dominion over the forces of his environment, even to the point where he may bring into actual manifestation chemical elements which, so far as we are able to determine from spectroscopic analysis of the stars, exist nowhere but on this planet. Neptunium and plutonium, the elements brought to active manifestation by atomic fusion, are truly thought-born. These genesis began with self-conscious mathematical analysis of the properties of matter. The analysis was then made the basis of imagination and invention. The new elements began their existence in man's mind, and became actual things in the external world as the results of the mind-directed and mind-conceived works of man. Even greater things than these are possible for Eps who are mastered in his own emotions and desires. Subconsciousness always directs the activities of the subhuman forces of nature. This is true whether the action of those forces be hostile or friendly to man. Subconsciousness, in turn, is always amenable to impressions originating at the self-conscious level of mentation. What matters, therefore, is the kind of patterns we set. Our mental patterns are determined by self-conscious interpretations of experience. Let observation and attention, the magician, be faulty, superficial, negative, or fearful, and the resulting sequence of subconscious reactions is bound to be destructive. Then the spoken word and uttered speech of thought, the chariot, will be vehicles for a destructive pattern, and we shall set wild beasts at our own vitals. Change your pattern and change the results. Make sure it's accurate, profound, courageous, and positive. Then you tame the lion, and then he becomes your servant. This indeed is the secret of all spiritual activities, the secret of strength, the secret of ultimate mastery. Your personal application of this secret in your own life will change everything for the better. Carry it out farther in your social relations, and you will become one of the increasing number of builders of a new free world that shall realize the glory of eternal splendor of the limitless light. May it be just that way.